I will read one, I think it's a long paragraph, but I think we have a couple of days in between. I think it would be nice to read and bring up to the speed. And then we will continue. Thus, Indians should say that they were now being punished by the stringent law of material nature. The honorable editor of Amrita Bazar Patrika, Abhay noted, quote, has written so sadly, if one trouble goes, another quickly follows. Not a surprising sentence. But that was stated in the Bhagavad Gita a long time previously. It was the same theme he had stated in his 1944 Back to Godhead articles, and the theme of so many of his letters also. Man, due to his neglect of the Supreme Lord, is being punished by material nature, which is directly controlled by the Supreme Lord. We have learned so many times, but still we don't learn lessons. Man may write newspaper article, pass measures at meeting and conferences, and attempt to overcome nature by scientific research. Yet, they will remain unable to surmount nature's law. As they try to escape their punishments, the Supreme Lord will cast them deeper into illusion. This is the thing. And they will fall miserably. Abhay quoted an appropriate Bengali saying, I was trying to make a statue of Shiva, but I ended up making a monkey. Terrible. This is what our recent education is doing to us, And we take so proud to send our children to the well-known university. This knowledge is detrimental. But that doesn't mean we don't have to go. We have to maintain our life. But at least we should understand that that will not lead for the good benefit, ultimate benefit, at least. Now, so we will continue. In order to rid the world of misery and bring about happiness, we have now created atomic bomb. Seeing the all-pervading destruction which could take place in the near future by automatic reactions, Western thinkers have become greatly disturbed. Some people try to give consolation, saying that we will only use this atomic energy to bring about happiness in the world. This is also another enigma of the illusory potency. We are so illusion, we can't get the point. That's deeply we are being covered. We can't see through the right thing. We always go through the miserable temporary thing. Despite we learn so many lessons in our life. That's amazing. Prabhupada is hitting the point. The problem, Abhay explained, was that the world was lacking Krishna conscious devotees. Leader under the influence of material nature could never solve the problem of the world. Materialistic illusion was especially prevalent in the Western countries, not in India, but we left the country to come to release the money over here. Terrible. Which Indians should not try to imitate. But now we see that India is following even more Western civilization. How much illusions we are. Despite knowing this fact, even within that at least I can speak for myself, that we are so illusion. Abhay prophesied, however, that Krishna consciousness would one day reach the West. In the Western countries, there has never been any discussion of the relation between the atomic individual soul and the supreme, complete conscious personality of God. Neither their activities nor their state in ultimate perfection has been investigated. That is why, even though they have made so much material advancement, they are squirming in the burning poison of sensualism. We can be absolutely certain, listen this sentence Prabhupada is writing, we can be absolutely certain that India's real peace formula will one day reach their ears. But the devotees who have taken birth in India, they have given up. Unless, very nice, Prabhupada, following in the footsteps of Prabhupada, we can change the situation. You know, there is a great saying, you won't be able to change the world, but you can change yourself. Abhay's article began appearing regularly in the Gaudiya Patrika. His godbrothers appreciated his writings because it's so clear, you know, no gray area, white and black. His denunciation of the materialistic mentality was reminiscent of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati's. In Abhay's hand, the Bhagavad Gita's concept of asura, demon, was no longer merely a depiction of a mythological or legendary enemy. The asuras has come to life in the modern day. Hitler, Churchill, or even an Indian Prime Minister. But as Abhay pointed out, his denunciation of the misleaders was not his own. He was only repeating the words of Krishna. During 1950-51, he continued his later writing, attempting to gain a hearing with various organizations and leaders. He wrote the World Pacifist Committee, the President of India, and the Minister of Education. He wrote to the Indian Congress for Cultural Freedom, which wrote back suggesting that Abhay had written them by mistake. He wrote to an official of the All Religions Conference in Bombay, advising that because of their approach, nothing practical would come out of their conference. Quote, the practical solution is lying in the transcendental message of Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, as given by him in the Bhagavad Gita. On September 14, 1951, he corresponded with Daniel Bailey of the American Reporter, a magazine published by the American Embassy in New Delhi. Prabhupada, you know, reach out so many places. Haribol. Abhay point out that the philosophy of understanding the absolute truth, as realized by the sages of India, was higher than attempt to combine East and West. Mr. Bailey replied that he was aware of Eastern philosophical and religious influence in the West and cited the progress of a yoga mission in New York City, which he said had some influence on the Protestants in America. But when Abhay asked if one of his articles could appear in the American Reporter, Mr. Bailey replied, quote, if we were to give considerable space in the American Reporter to say the Gita, we in all fairness would have to give equal space to the other philosophies. And our result is not to endorse or condemn any of them, but simply to assist in a better understanding. Unquote. In a further reply, Abhay differed with Mr. Bailey's contentions that people should be encouraged to make their own interpretation of religion. Quote, less intelligent men are always guided by those who are superior in knowledge in all spheres of life. Unquote. Abhay even wrote to the Ford Foundation in Detroit. Haribol. The result we got is Amrish Prabhu. Hare Krishna. And a staff assistant wrote back, quote, regret to advise you that we are unable to pursue your suggestion concerning the establishment of an association of the intelligent class of people. The Ford Foundation has no program in which specific ideas such as you describe might be included. But Prabhupada, wherever he touch, he make the devotees because he has true love for Krishna in his heart. Although most of his suggestions were rejected, occasionally he received words of appreciation. A certain Dr. Muhammad Sayyid, PhD, a professor at the University of Allahabad, wrote, quote, you seem to have assimilated the universal teaching of ancient India. What a nice realization, which is really laudable, unquote. And the governor of the Uttar Pradesh replied, quote, you are doing noble work, for nothing is nobler than to be God-minded. Haribol. Not only was Abhay giving advice in his letters, but he was hinting that he could also give practical help. If he could obtain institutional backing, he was prepared to do many things. Teach classes, manage temples, teach temple worship, and initiate devotees, as well as organize various kinds of field work to propagate the principles of Bhagavad Gita. Usually, he did not spell out exactly how things should be done, but he pointed to the philosophical defects in the present methods and superiority of working in accord with the Vedic literature. By the grace of his spiritual master, we have to engrave this sentence in our mind and heart. Anything that we will be able to do good in our life, credit must 100% goes to the Guru and Krishna. We are very fallen. Otherwise, do what Prabhupada did in his life. You know, the total asset of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Just think that he established 100 temples. Show me any industrialist who has accumulated that much wealth. Prabhupada has beat everybody. By the grace of his spiritual master, he knew the science of applying Bhagavad Gita to almost any situation. This is really we need to know. We can read so many things, but the things we need to know is how to apply in our life. Anything, something that you hear good, that at least you are convinced or it attracted your heart, dwell on it and make some plan. How can I utilize this knowledge in my practical life? And then you will see Krishna will give you more and more instructions to change the way you are living your life. Haribol. It will change completely because we are actually doing 100% opposite to what Krishna is saying, you know. So we have to make 180 tons. Haribol. If someone would only show interest, he could teach that person the superiority of working according to the Bhagavad Gita. How compassionate those personalities are. Just little interest, they will give you everything. After attending a meeting in which a prominent industrialist had stressed harmonious relationship between labor and management in his factory, Abhay wrote a letter suggesting the men consider the good effects the congregational chanting of the Hare Krishna would produce. Since the factory had a special employees club and lounge, Abhay suggested that the worker assemble there and chant Hare Krishna. Abhay urged everyone to surrender to Krishna, but most of the people had their own philosophies and took his spirit to be sectarian or proselytizing. But Bhagavad Gita was universal. Abhay wrote, the God could not be omitted from any program. Even in the name of a secular state, Krishna, as the father of all living beings, had jurisdiction over all programs, organizations, and governments. Indians, especially, should appreciate the universal scope of Bhagavad Gita. Although Abhay always had a plan of action behind his suggestions, look at this. They know exactly what needs to be done. They are straight in their thinking. He first sought the interest of his correspondent. There wasn't much interest, and he was repeatedly turned down. But he never felt discouraged. What a wonderful instructions, example that Prabhupada has said, because there will be discouragement. But that doesn't mean we should stop our service. He always, and I have that great experience, and then I think later on, first maybe in my life, I may have used little, hard ways or something to raise the fund or something. But as I grew in my devotional service, I came to know that, the force doesn't work. You just give the liberty to the person, that the message must be delivered strong. And then leave the decision up to the person, and I have seen that it works much better. You don't force, but you present. What benefit are they going to get by doing something? And just say that I'm not saying you should do it. You contemplate, and if you become convinced, then you do something. Otherwise, if you don't do it, still you will be my friend. Leave it at that point. That has more effect. That's what my little realization raising the fund. Haribo. There wasn't much interest, and he was repeatedly turned down. But he never felt discouraged. He always anticipated finding a sympathizer. He kept copies of all his letters and their replies. A word of appreciation or a slight show of interest from a correspondent being sufficient to elicit from Abhay another thoughtful reply. He had developed a keen sense of dedication to Lord Chaitanya's mission without expecting leadership from the Gaudiya Math. That's a wonderful qualities. We always try to get some positions, then and then we do. Give up this false prestige and positions. Just simply become a servant of the servant of the servant. He still cherished the idea that his God brothers would soon come together and preach, but he didn't put any energy in the mass, since to do so would mean to become involved in one of the factions. Staying clear of the Gaudiya Math's internal fray. See, this is also very, very nice to learn. We should not involve in so many things. If you involve in so many things will come and it will distract your time. Because when you involve, it will take some time. Minimize your involvement, so much so that you can fully concentrate on chanting the holy name of Krishna. That is the best thing you can do. Staying clear of the Gaudiya Math's internal fray Abhay continued his letter writing campaign alone, introducing himself as a preacher of Bhagavad Gita and editor of Back to Godhead magazines. I still remember. I don't want to name the person. He lives in our community. He is a businessman. And then he got some partners and they were fighting. So one time he approached me and that person said, Prabhuji, I think that all his partners were maybe a part of our congregation. So he said that they may listen to you, Prabhuji. I will give you, without investing any money, I will give you 5% of the business. But can you become an advisor to our company? I denied. I said, I don't want to get involved. I didn't need any partnership. But if you, whenever you need any advice, you are always welcome to come to my home. And if I can give you some, definitely I will share my thought at least. So this is how we should be, because these I have seen in this material, what is this material life is, that it just give you the allurement. There is something I should get involved. There is something we are hankering for. And all this thing is nothing but to bound us more and more in the materialistic way of life. So we have to stay away from this as much as possible. Haribol. What I would like to say, something. Now let me continue reading. In 1948, Abhay closed his Lucknow factory. He had fallen behind in employees' salaries. And since 1946, he had been paying past rent in the installment. But when sales drop off, continuing the factory became impossible. He lost everything. Little part similar happened to my life too. Haribol. Krishna is very kind actually. Srila Prabhupada, in his own words, I started a big laboratory in Lucknow. Those were golden days. My business flourished like anything. Everyone in the chemical business knew, but then gradually everything dwindled. This is the laws of nature, material world. We try to solve everything, but who can stop our aging? Who will stop the disease that we have to face as we grew older? And what to speak of the last moment of our life? Horrible time. And we have to prepare. One devotee wrote me that, they are sick. And I said, even though you are sick, this is the moment of our life when this obstacle comes. And still, you maintain your vow, at least for chanting, that this time I'm going to join no matter what happens, even if you sick or whatever. That, when you take the austerity, that attracts the heart of Krishna. I have realized this truth. That's why I can say firmly, Krishna will reciprocate so nicely. Look at my devotee. He was so much in trouble. He didn't get the sleep, but he joined on time. You will get Lord of Moshe. And I wrote that don't think that this sickness is going to end. This is very less sickness. We are heading toward the old age, which is going to give so much suffering. So many diseases may come. So many, our limbs may not function properly. I see some sign, if I put my key, now I make a rule. First thing I come in my home is remove the shoes. This is my line of action. Second thing you do is put your home key into the keyboard. Third thing, that if you have to change your dress or outfit, change it, relax it. Then you do whatever you want to do. Otherwise, if you are wearing obstacle or glasses, and if you are wearing sunglasses and now you entered in the home, put the sunglasses into the cases and put the sunglasses where it belongs. It should have the definite space for everything. As you get older, you need to assign so perfectly where you keep your stuff. Because I'm telling you, so many things will happen that we will keep on forgetting and we will waste so much of our time. So every item that you are possessor, you should have a definite place that where you are going to store it. And we go through this every 6 months or minimum at least a year. We go through, take it out, everything from each drawer. Don't just look at it, take it out and then see that something that you have never used for a year, that thing is useless for you. You will never need in the future. Throw it out. Don't become attached and simplify it. Something that I have been practicing. Said it may work for you or may not work for you, but something to think about. With the help of some acquaintances in Allahabad, he opened a small factory there in the same city where his Prayag pharmacy had failed 15 years before. He moved to Allahabad with his son Brundaban and continued manufacturing medicines, while the rest of the family remained at the Banerjee line in Calcutta. Abhay continued his traveling, but now he was often away for months at a time. And then he had the dream a second time. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati appeared before him. If you really serve your spiritual master, they always come to you and guide you eternally. It's not that their physical presence only can give you the instructions. I have a little glimpse of experience about this. That's why I can say this thing. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati appeared before him again, and he was beckoning, indicating that Abhay should take sannyas. And again, Abhay had to put the dream aside. He was a householder with many responsibilities. To take sannyas would mean to give up everything. He had to earn money. He now had 5 children. Why is Guru Maharaj asking me to take sannyas? He thought it was not possible now. Prabhupada was really, really practical. And when we read his lifestyle, it will give you so many insight how to make a proper decision, because this is I really relish reading the life of our acharyas. We will not learn from the scripture, but we will learn from the life of the Vaishnavas, how to live a perfect life. I really relish this. The Allahabad business was unsuccessful. At present, the time has come to depart because so many devotees have to go to the work and perform their household duties. So we should stop here. But before they leave, we would like to offer them our humble obeisances at the dusk of their feet, because they are so kind. Despite so many activities in their household affairs, still they are finding the time to give their kind association to all of us. So we are eternally grateful for those devotees. And we would like to offer our humble obeisances. Vancha kalpatarubhasya kripa sindhu bhayavacha patitanam pavnebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So thank you very much for the devotees.